Hello everyone, Tyler King here with a new episode of NuReview. Today I'm going off of the beaten path a little bit, taking just a little bit of a break from doing the Gary Numan discography videos. Today I'm actually going to be doing a review for an album that was requested to me by a friend. That album is Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocteau Twins. So, Heaven or Las Vegas is the sixth album, trying to get it shown, is the sixth album by the Cocteau Twins. This is their last album released on the 4AD label, a label that they had been on for the majority of their career. It is very much a relationship record. The singer Elizabeth Fraser and the guitarist Robin Guthrie are married at the time that this album is written and recorded. There are references on the album to Elizabeth's newborn daughter at the time, as well as direct references to her marriage with Robin Guthrie. One song in particular is literally called I Wear Your Ring. Despite the fact that it is a relationship record, though, Robin's guitar playing, which has kind of been at the forefront of almost every Cocteau Twins album up to this point, is kind of put on the back burner. Instead, Simon Raymond's bass playing is going to be much more prominent on this album, partly due to Robin Guthrie's drug addictions at the time. Let's dive right in. First song is Cherry Colored Funk. Opens up with these very deep bass, this very shimmering guitar played by Robin, and this very simple floor tom heavy drum beat. And Elizabeth Fraser's vocals on this song in particular, despite it being the first song on the album, it's one of the most emotional vocal performances I have heard from her in any Cocteau Twins song. The lyrics are vague, as they usually are. I will say, though, on this album in particular, you do get hints of lyrics that do make sense. It's not as... I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. On previous albums like Head Over Heels or Treasure, the vocals were used more as another instrument and less for linearity of lyrics. And on Heaven or Las Vegas, you do get these snatches of lyrics that do make coherent sense. But on Cherry Colored Funk, Elizabeth is talking about these blue hues, and she's referencing Beatles. But there's this part kind of towards the end of the song where she says, "Should I be hugged and tugged through this tiger's mask?" And the way that she sings that, my heart just breaks. I mean, if there was a competition of flawless album openers, this would probably win that competition. I have listened to this album many times, but I cannot tell you how many times listening to this song I have felt very strong emotions. This song just brings out everything that I have. My only complaint about the song is at a little over 3 minutes, it's a little bit too short. I feel like there's at least another minute of this cherry-colored oral landscape that the band could have given us. The second song on the album is called Pitch the Baby. It opens up with these very heavily treated guitars. They almost sound like a keyboard. They could be a keyboard. I don't know with Robin Guthrie's playing. Sometimes it sounds like a guitar. Sometimes it sounds like the furthest thing from a guitar. And that opens up the song, and then Simon comes in and the drum machine comes in, and we're treated to, in my opinion, one of the best bass lines on the entire album. And then again, once the instrumentation picks up and the whole band comes in, Robin's guitars become all shimmering texture, and Elizabeth's vocal delivery is a little bit more fast than it was on Cherry Colored Funk. And about halfway through the song, the percussion in particular picks up. It becomes a little bit more symbol-oriented, while Elizabeth keeps repeating the phrase, "I'm so happy to care for you, I only want to love you." And this is the first song on the album that is directly... it's kind of like she's written it directly for her child to read. And then similar length of Cherry Colored Funk, a little bit over 3 minutes. And it's like there's nothing bad about this song. The third song on the album is Ice Blink Luck. This was the single from the album, and it's obvious to see why. It's a bit more up-tempo than the previous couple of songs, and Robin's guitar is pushed much further up in the mix than it has been so far. And again, Elizabeth seems to be singing to her daughter, saying, "You, yourself, and your father don't know so much in your own ways," which could kind of be her comparing Robin to a child, given his drug addiction at the time. But at the end of the song, it closes out with Elizabeth saying, "Thank you for mending me, babies," which is now she's alright with Robin. The song isn't as emotionally heart-wrenching as the first two on the album, but it is really upbeat. It is a very fun song, and it makes it just as memorable as the first two. 4 songs in, we get 50/50 Clown. This song is all throbbing bassline and warm guitars. However, despite the warm feeling of the instrumentation that just kind of wants to welcome us into this landscape, this song in particular does have a much more cold feeling to it than the first few songs on the album. The percussion on this song is again very tom heavy, and Elizabeth's vocal delivery on this song is a little bit cool. It's kind of detached, despondent. It's not like the warm vocal deliveries that we've heard so far. 2 minutes in, she starts doing this vocalization that gives the song this otherworldly feel, and underneath that we have this kind of buzzing guitar sound coming up underneath that, and Elizabeth continues to repeat, "And this is safe flowing love and soul. Emotions aren't in the shape that emotions are." The song just fades out slowly, and it's nothing short of beautiful. After that, we have the title track, Heaven or Las Vegas, and it has these piano parts that are playing in the distance while Simon's bass and Robin's guitar are cutting through this instrumental murk. And I know that I continue to use the same adjectives when describing Robin Guthrie's guitar sound, but if you hear his tone, he is very, almost instantly recognizable because of it. His guitars are very warm, they're very welcoming, they're ethereal, they are otherworldly. I mean, the adjectives that I could use to describe his playing and his guitar sound could go on, but I would be hard-pressed to find another album that cover so perfectly represents what the album sounds like instrumentally. I mean, you look at this and you have this very blue up top, this red underneath. It's almost kind of like a Rothko painting, and that really is the color. It is the hue that you are getting listening to the 10 songs on this album. And on this song, Heaven or Las Vegas, Robin does get a guitar solo on it. It's this very buzzy feeling solo that I feel is cut a little bit too short. And Elizabeth's vocal delivery is particularly emotional, asking, "Am I just in heaven or Las Vegas? It's so much brighter than the sun is to me." And we're 5 songs into the album, and each one so far has been perfect. And then after that, we are given I Wear Your Ring. The song opens with these very warm synths and this very restrained drum beat before the song picks up. And the song has much more emphasis on this kind of exotic drum machine percussion bit than what we've been treated to so far. Lyrically, the song seems to be about Elizabeth Fraser and Robin Guthrie's marriage. Elizabeth says he pleases me fine a couple of times in the song, and then later she ends up saying, men are so useless, he's a flirt, which kind of hints almost at the disdain and the dissolution of the relationship, which would lead to not only the breakup between Robin and Elizabeth, but also the breakup of the entire band in 1997. The next song on it, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, is Fotzepolitic. Instrumentally, the song is much more upbeat than I Wear Your Ring, and it almost has kind of a bouncy feel to it, just based off of the rhythm section. The guitars, again, are being used much more for their texture elements, not so much of a lead, and the bass is very up front. It's very reminiscent of 50/50 Clown. And Elizabeth's vocal delivery is a little bit more melancholic this time around. She sings, my dreams are low, they're young girls' dreams, and before that she does some like la 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 kind of thing with her voice, which gives that declaration a little bit more of an added dramatic feel to it. And then Robin has another all too short, buzzy feeling guitar solo before the song ends. After that, we have Wolf in the Breast, and right out of the gate, we are treated to a much more restrained song. The effects on the guitar, in particular, are almost non-existent. There are some flourishes here and there throughout the song of that trademark warm Robin Guthrie tone to it, but overall, this is probably the most clean-sounding song on the album. The vocals are accentuated with this repeated phrase, my baby's cries. But overall, the vocals are a little bit more relaxed on this song for the most part. Then a couple of minutes in, the vocals start to overlap each other, and the percussion, which has been this very simple 4/8 bars for the most part up to this point, becomes this very heavy, rushed, faster, tom-led drum part. And then Robin's very discordant guitar comes in underneath it, and the song comes to a close. The 9th song on the album is Road, River, and Rail. This is another song with a dominating low end. Robin is playing these very ominous guitar tones in the background of the song. The lyrics almost read like a warning to Elizabeth's daughter. The line in particular, flaying on the ground with your infant's lives, kind of drives it home a little bit. And the last verse in particular, so embarrassed, I'm not sure at all, lies mother's daughter. Truth is, she found love. And then the last song on the album is Frou-Frou, Foxes in Midsummer Fires. And right from the beginning of this song, it has a much different feel than any song that we've heard before on this album. It opens with this very gentle, pretty piano part, this very simple, cymbal-led percussion underneath it. Robin's playing this kind of muted but still distorted guitar line in the background underneath it all. And the vocals in particular have this very airy feel to them, and the whole song seems very... It's very unrushed feeling until a couple of songs in where there's this very dramatic snare hit, and then all of a sudden Simon's bass playing comes in and Robin's guitar cuts through the gloom. And then once the song slows down again, Robin's discordant guitar that was kind of playing in the background of the beginning of the song comes back in, but it's much more noticeable this time around. And as the song goes on, the rhythm section really starts to become the focal point of this song, especially as the verses continue to be repeated by Elizabeth Fraser. And this album is really bookended by two songs, Cherry Colored Funk and Frou-Frou Foxes, that very perfectly encapsulate everything that comes between them on this album. and then the song does this very slow, gradual fade out, and all of these feelings of elation and melancholia and sadness that this album brings out of you slowly fades out with that instrumentation. And that's Heaven or Las Vegas. Personal notes for the album. I can't make it through listening to this album without feeling some kind of sadness. I have cried many times listening to this album. This isn't one that I particularly put on when I want to feel good, but when I do want to feel a certain way, this album brings that out in spades. This album does bring me back to a specific time in my life, at least when I was 19 is when I really got into this album, and it meant a lot to me then, and listening to it now, it still means a lot to me. And despite the fact that I've been a fan of this album in particular for over 7 years, it has not lost its emotional impact. And every time I listen to it, there is something that I hear in it that I had not heard before, especially listening to it, getting ready for the review of this album. I noticed a lot of subtleties on there that I had not heard before. A lot of Robin's guitar work that's done in the background is something that I had not particularly heard before listening to it this time. And this is an album, again, I have been a fan of this for 7 years, and I never noticed some of those things. And this is an album that when I was asked to review it, I thought it would be a very easy thing to do. And re-listening to it a handful of times, getting ready for this review, I realized I had a lot more to say about this album than I thought that I did. There's an argument that is made against the Cocteau Twins that all of their albums sound the same or that all of their songs sound the same, but I would argue that until I run out of breath, because whereas with an album like Garland, like Treasure, like Head Over Heels, or even Victoria Land, you have a handful of very good songs and a few songs that you can take or leave. Heaven or Las Vegas is full of just perfect song after perfect song after perfect song, and it does not let up. I mean, this is an album, I don't even know what else to say about it. This is one of my favorite albums. This is one that I don't think I'll ever get tired of hearing or listening to. Favorite songs is going to be really hard to pick. Definitely the opener, Cherry Colored Funk. 50/50 Clown. The title track, and then I would say Frou-Frou Foxes and Midsummer Fires. And you know what? Pitch the Baby as well. Just like the first 5 songs on here are all such perfect songs. It's very hard to pick a favorite song from this album. Least favorite songs would probably be I Wear Your Ring, Fotzepolitic, and Road, River, and Rail. None of them are bad by any means, but in regards to the other songs on here, those 3 in particular, they don't stand out. That being said, though, any one of those 3 songs is the kind of song that any other band wishes they could write one of. And Cocteau Twins wrote 10 of those on this album. In case you can't tell, this is an album that I hold very near and dear to me. This is an album that has gotten me through a lot, and I feel like this is an album that will continue to get me through a lot, and I see no reason not to give it a 10 out of 10 rating. And so that is my review of Heaven or Las Vegas. What did you think? Did you enjoy this review? Did you hate this review? Is this your favorite Cocteau Twins album? Is this your least favorite Cocteau Twins album? Does this bring you back to a particular time in your life? Please leave any positive or negative comments in the comment box below. Next review coming is going to be Berserker by Gary Numan. And in the meantime, this is Tyler King with NuReview, Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas. 10 out of 10.